most of the Bible is not exciting. It has all the same elements of a blockbuster Hollywood movie. Exciting battle scenes, revolutionary hero, drama with lots of lying.
So you're not his sister then?
Of course not.
Backstabbing.
Yes!
This is Bible storytelling with all of the Hollywood flair.
It's not modern, it's not kind of tiny movie making, it's grand scale movie making, but with a really, really important message to it.
So what is that important message? ChristianHeadlines.com surveyed Christians about this Exodus movie. 80% of the respondents said that they were interested in coming to see the Exodus film if it's biblically accurate. So how does this Hollywood blockbuster stack up to one of the Bible's most epic tellings of God's deliverance? Now, the most important aspect to keep in mind when reviewing any biblical film is to answer this question. How does this film portray God and his servants?
Here's where the story differs from the Ten Commandments. First off, the voice of God is played by an 11-year-old boy.
In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, actor Christian Bale says this about his character Moses.
I think the man was likely schizophrenic and was one of the most barbaric individuals that I've ever read about in my life.
Schizophrenia. A long-term mental disorder of a type involving a breakdown in the relation between thought, emotion, and behavior, leading to faulty perception, inappropriate actions, and feelings, withdrawal from reality and personal relationships into fantasy and delusion, and a sense of mental fragmentation.
This is what most people would call crazy. And barbaric? The trailer does depict Moses with a sword at Ramses' throat, threatening him to free the Israelites. Mr. Bale goes on to say,
He was a very troubled, tumultuous man, and mercurial. But the biggest surprise was the nature of God. He was equally very mercurial.
Mercurial. Subject to sudden or unpredictable changes of mood or mind.
The Bible's pretty clear about God's character, and it's anything but changing.
For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
So where does he get these ideas? You see, the amazing thing here is that Christian Bale actually read the first 5 books of the Bible. But remember, spiritual things are spiritually discerned. He also read the Quran. And Jonathan Kirsch's book, Moses, A Life, it's worth noting that Jonathan Kirsch is far from mainstream Christianity in his theology. In his book, he writes of Moses.
Truth be told, however, the biblical Moses is seldom humble and never mild, and his conduct cannot always be regarded as righteous. At certain terrifying moments, as the Bible reveals to anyone who is willing to read it with open eyes, Moses rears up as arrogant, bloodthirsty, and cruel.
Is it meant to humble me? Because it will not!
This is not even close to how the Bible describes the character of Moses.
Now the man Moses was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
Now in the Internet Movie Database, it even lists Christian Bale as an actor who is either atheist, agnostic, or non-religious. And where does the director Ridley Scott stand in all this? As the director put it,
There's magic in science fiction, except it's fundamentally believed to be real.
So is he saying that the Bible stories are science fiction and that we should not believe them to be real?
First of all, it's epic in scale. And second of all, I don't think people have seen this world done properly.
Might be because you don't think that the biblical account is real. In an interview with Esquire, he says the following.
And the biggest source of evil is, of course, religion.
Our religion?
Can you think of a good one? A just and kind and tolerant religion?
Clearly, Scott does not see Christianity or its God to be kind or tolerant, in a tone that suggests it's ludicrous to worship such a God. And it comes out in his storyline. So let's analyze these really important messages. Maybe it's when
Yourselves! You've honored me with your trust!
Instead of putting your trust in God. And like his sister, he's a liar too.
I've not been completely gotta be honest with you.
And they probably got their lying ways from their parents.
Your parents never told you the truth.
What truth?
But I'm confused because this is supposed to be...
It's really a battle of ethics.
Except, is it ethical for Moses to transcribe the foundation for morality? The Bible is very clear. It was God that wrote the Ten Commandments with his own finger. Or maybe one of these important messages is that Moses started out as a non-believer.
We're being taken through the story by Moses was essentially a non-believer.
Neither of us believes in prophecies. I want to know the truth.
Maybe the message you're trying to get across is that we should believe in prophecies. But this prophecy is not in the Bible.
The year of your birth, there was a prophecy that our leader would be born to liberate the slaves.
Maybe one of the messages is that God needed a leader that was really good at killing people.
So let's just see who's more effective at killing. You, this god, or me?
After all, he's a leader of a revolution.
Moses believes his place is as leader of a revolution.
So if the movie isn't even close to the Bible, maybe we should go see it for the same reason that Christian Bale would see it.
I'm obsessed with tidal waves, and this has the most remarkable one that I've ever seen, and I could just repeat it, and I'll just go to see the film just for that.
Ah, the most iconic moment in the film. Well, what does the director have to say about this scene? In an interview with Ridley Scott, he speaks about his vision for the parting of the Red Seas.
I didn't believe it then. I was just a kid sitting in the third row. I remember that feeling and thought that I'd better come up with a more scientific or natural explanation.
According to the Wall Street Journal,
he has decided to have the waters part as the result of a tsunami caused by an earthquake. Before a tsunami strikes, coastal waters often recede, leaving the seabed dry before the giant wave arrives.
I think that's more miraculous than the biblical account. So, are there any miracles attributed to God? The plagues, right? Well, the plagues are in there, but how does the director Ridley Scott see miracles like the plagues?
It's always interesting to address all the facts. Out of the facts comes the logic, and out of the logic comes reality.
So neither the plagues nor the parting of the sea are logical. They're not supposed to be. The Bible says,
"For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord."
The true biblical story is really about God's mighty hand of deliverance. It's all about how he wants to continue to deliver us even today. This movie will ultimately leave you with a skewed view of God and his character. Because if he wasn't the one who really parted the Red Sea and saved the Israelites, how could he save you? My advice, take an Exodus from their twisted depictions of the Bible and save yourself some money and the disappointment.